Good afternoon, at least from me, or good morning, wherever you are. Now, first thing is first, if you hear humming in the background, it's a fan, okay? Because I am located in South Portugal and summer months have arrived here, okay? So it's going to be warm for really warm for at least 2 months, 2 to 3 months, okay? From around now up to mid September. And it's absolutely normal, okay? It's a bloody nuisance for a person like me that suffers a bit with the heat, but it's needed, okay? That is why we also have excellent crops in things like coffee, olive oil, you know, like grain, vegetables, fruits, bountiful, bountiful land, okay? So it's life, everything comes at a cost. Now, like you saw in the name of the video, I will be talking about my first reaction to the riots in LA. First of all, riots, I don't know, but protests, yes, I saw a lot of it, and I also saw a lot of excessive force by the police officers, no, the ICE officers. But then again, that is nothing new in the US, okay? Just have to tune in into a cop show or something like that, and you will witness it firsthand. Okay, and also I have seen footage from friends that went to the United States. Okay, so look, just to put it bluntly, no one was expecting anything less from the police forces, because number one, the people that are protesting also don't know how to protest, at least in a civilized way as we understand it across the ocean. Even the French, that are the most extremist of us all, they know the limits when you are in a riot and when you are protesting something that is unfair. Okay. Secondly, let's talk a bit about why did ICE stormed California, in this case LA, where the entire economy depends on the work of people that are either migrant workers or some of them undocumented. I heard the next estimate of around 1 million people, but I really can trust the estimates in the US right now, especially from official entities, because there is a lot of bias, a lot of confusion. There are people that are honestly trying to be truthful, honestly trying to be neutral, but it's all tainted by extreme positions. Now, first of all, a bit of history. California was, let's say, occupied by the USA in the 1800s. Okay, just like Texas, that was an independent republic integrated in in the USA. Texas, that used to be named Texas. Okay, just like California. That is why you have so many names in Portuguese and in Spanish. I'm saying Spanish, but the name of the language is Castilian. Okay, I'm just saying Spanish because Americans don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to understand that even Spain has more than one language, one more than one official language. Even Portugal has two official languages. Okay, but I will leave it up to you to research that and educate yourself a bit. Okay, but now. What I'm trying to say is this: the reason why so much of the population is of so-called Hispanic origins, meaning descendants of Spanish settlers mixed with the indigenous people from Mexico, it's because that land is theirs, and before them, they belonged to the indigenous people that lived in that area, that were pretty much wiped out by diseases and by other factors. Okay, when we talk about this subject, we also have to be a bit neutral. Okay, but what happened was a very large number of factors. I'm talking about the wiping out of the indigenous people, diseases, genocide. Well, yes, it happened also. Economic factors, a lot of things. Culture shock, a lot of But truth be said, the people that now live in Mexico, they are proud of their origins. They have no issues with it. They have no issues in being Euro Americans, let's call them like that. So, in that sense, I consider them to be more. The word entitled is a bit stronger, but I consider them to be entitled or have a right to live in California, live in all those areas. They have a right. But that would be the subject for another video. I'm just trying to introduce my train of thought into this. Now, to me, this intervention of ICE is nothing more than a deliberate provocation. They went straight into the wolf's den, let's call it like that, for in their perspective, in order to provoke a reaction out of people, and they got it. So now Mr. Trump has enough reason to deploy uh, national guards and to provoke even more people. He's playing with people's emotions, and people are doing what he wants to do. Now, some people that are against Mr. Trump, some people that are Hispanic, some people that are Californian might not like what I'm going to say, but I will say it. You played right into his hands. He needed a distraction. You want to know why he needed a distraction? He needed a distraction because the economy is tanking. Simple as this. He needed a distraction because, for example, if you don't know this, the USA is struggling to get the components for everything, including their military, because you impose sanctions on Europe and ports like Rotterdam and like in Germany. Okay, all of those ports they are denying to uh, to deal with American hulls. You know, companies that are transporting from the USA to Europe and from Europe to the USA. You have billions in components, like for example, everything from medical machines to components for weaponry, to components for agriculture farms, agriculture machines, sorry, to components to military airplanes and all that, all frozen. And not just in Rotterdam. It's also frozen in Brazil, in the Port Santos, one of the largest in the world too, okay, and in many other ports. So the practical effects of the tariffs is now coming into fruition, and the practical effects is the stranglehold on the American economy. If you don't understand this, let me give you a simple example. Because as you can see, I sometimes use examples because I think it's the quickest way to teach something to a person. Okay? But imagine a rope. The rope is called tariffs. And Mr. Trump put the neck of the American people in that noose. And then he started to pull the rope at other countries, at other parties. But when he tried to pull that rope, the answer of the other countries was to pull back. And they are stronger, they have more leverage over the USA, and now they are choking the American people, the American state. This is exactly what is happening. And if you consider this as a hostile attack from other countries, no, it's not. It's like when you have a dog and the dog insists in peeing the carpet and you keep pushing the dog's nostril, not very not very strongly, not to hurt the poor animal, but you push the nose of the beast into the pee so that the dog learns, has that reflection that if he pees in the carpet again, this will happen to him. So he will pee wherever you tell him to pee. Very simple, These things are not very complicated if you remove yourselves from your own narrative. I do that. I remove myself from my own position, okay, and I try to put myself in the other party's shoes. My dad taught me that. My dad told me, before you criticize anyone, put yourself in his shoes. And how would you react? So this is for the Americans to understand that there is no hostility here. But if the situation continues this way, hostility may rise. It's already rising. Okay. It's already rising. People in Europe don't want American tourists. They want other tourists. People in Canada don't want anything to do with the Americans. Around here, we are doing the same. Me, myself, as an ethical position, I simply stopped consuming American products. The only American product per se that I consume right now is YouTube. And that is only because there is no valid alternative in at this moment. And I'm a pragmatic person. But for example, I go to the store, to the supermarket, and I live in a medium-sized city here in Portugal, a considerably large town for us, around 30,000 people, something like that. For us, it's a big place with a lot of things. Okay, consider we are only 10 or 11 million inside our borders. There's around 5 or 6 million immigrated elsewhere in the world, especially in Europe and also in the USA. But just for you to understand this, in the local little supermarket here in Portugal, that I go very often because, as I told you, I have German blood in me. I'm part German, and there are certain things that I like from Germany. Certain products, the bratwurst, the beer, certain things that I like, that I prefer to the Portuguese options. Okay, so it's a place that I go often, and also because they have fresh Portuguese products, always produce, and this is normal in Lidl. They have, even from my hometown, a lot of it. I would say that around 80% of what is sold in Lidl is Portuguese, and the rest is majoritarily majority, sorry, Spanish, because Portugal and Spain we are very interconnected economically. Okay, it's natural, Portugal only has the sea and Spain, so there's not much options for quick trade. But it has always been this way. Okay, so it's normal. It's not something that is out of norm. But I saw the first thing sign I saw, and I think I made a video about this, was the colas, the American colas, and they have plants here in Portugal for decades now. You know, I'm not going to mention the name of the brands. We all know what the brands are because I don't want to offend anyone and even give any company a negative how would you say it, a negative propaganda or whatever, because that's not my point. I don't care about that, the name of the companies, but they produce their products here, mostly to national producers that also produce national brands, and that simply produce and bottle the American product here according to EU rules that are stricter. That is why your Fanta looks like a Nuka-Cola from Fallout, and our Fanta actually looks like the original Fanta that was developed in Germany, if you don't know. So it's basically a carbonated orange juice and sweet. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. It's a thing, an absolutely normal thing, and that I used to like. I'm not a cola man, but I liked Fanta, for example. But me, from my ethical position, day one, Mr. Trump began his policies. I gave him 2 days to see if he was going to be a normal person or do what he has been doing here. Day two, I stopped buying any American product, even those made here. And there weren't much. The cars or whatever, but even the cars are made here. But also, I never liked American cars, but that's another story. And I won't talk about it right now, so that we don't drift too much out of the purpose of the objective of this stream and the subject that I'm trying to talk about. But day one, I stopped buying it, and it was not just me. Family members, friends, people I don't know. And I talked with a person that knows. I cannot say if the person works there or not because I should not say this. But they tell me that the colas, the sales dropped significantly, but really significantly. You know, to the point of more than have to be. They don't even need to restock it. They just let it sit. Simple as this, because no one is buying it except a couple of Portuguese, of course. Some still buy it, their choice, and a couple of, for example, foreigners, tourists traveling around. They buy it. Okay, and they had a shelf, two big shelves, supermarket shelves, the large ones, filled with American products. And I passed by that supermarket, and I go to that supermarket at least once a week. The shelves were practically the same. Up until a week ago, when I saw they had the products, the end date, and it was about half to a quarter of the original price, and still they said, because this is the way Europe is acting towards the USA. We are not being hostile. No one here wants to, how can I say it? No one here wants, for example, to burn American products or destroy American plants or ban American companies. Nothing at all. We are just ignoring you. And this is the way we do it. And I understand this behavior because, oddly, it's a characteristic of both of my main ethnic backgrounds, Portuguese and German. The difference is that the Portuguese will do it with a smile, okay? But it's the same thing. Instead of wasting time in pointless conflict, you just ignore it. You ignore people, you ignore companies. There's a cola of that brand. Well, I don't want it. I won't buy it. Oh, there's this American service. I don't want it. But why? Because I don't want it. There comes an American tourist. Oh, where is this and where is that? Sorry, I don't speak English. But you are speaking English with me. Yes, but I don't speak English. You ignore the person. And this is something Americans are going to have to get used to if this continues this way. So, this isn't, look, relations between states, relations between people, they are not stagnant. Okay? You only can predict to a certain degree human behavior in a short span of time. Look, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you tell me I can predict what will happen in 5 years, 10 years. No. Who could predict that Putin, that was trying to enter as a member, or at least an associate member to the EU, who would predict Putin would invade Ukraine? A couple of. I heard two or three commentators, political experts. I'm not an expert, okay? But I heard a couple of experts talking about it. I was surprised, me personally, because I believed him to be a little more intelligent than he was. But when it comes to narcissistic people, even if they are extremely smart, they always do dumb things because they believe themselves to be superior to other people. Now, continue. Now, so in my opinion, when the ICE agents entered LA, entering how they did, just like they are doing in other parts of the country, would of course create this reaction, and everyone knew it. From the person that ordered those raids, okay, to the people that live in LA, they all knew this would happen. Okay, if they had had a different approach, there will be some protests, but nothing of the sort that is happening right now. And again, I will tell you this: you are working in a restaurant, or you're the owner of a restaurant. Imagine, and you're an American, Caucasian guy, white guy. You know, you have a lot of Hispanic workers working for you, and some guys enter your restaurant clad in army gear with their hair, with their faces covered. They don't give you a bloody explanation. They just start raiding people who you documents and blah 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 blah. They completely disrupt your livelihood. Some of those employees might be your friends. Some of those employees might have relations with your family. Okay, dinner parties, baptisms, church, school, friendship, and these people arrive and they simply start to destroy everything without a bloody reason. Oh, we are hunting for illegals. We are hunting for crimes, for criminals. Okay, would criminals be working in a restaurant downtown, living off a low wager, a wager much lower than any American would take? Would they? Look, I would understand if, for example, they raided sweatshops downtown LA. What? Something like that. You understand? That would even be normal. Not normal because I think their approach is completely wrong. Okay, why don't they do what other countries do? Like mine does, for example. You can only work. You can only work if you are legal, if you are paying your taxes, your social security, all of that, and you have a document that proves that you are able to be here. Any other circumstance, you are detained, you are brought before a judge. The judge decides, in the terms of the law, how they will proceed, and it can pass by immediate deportation. You cannot have a permanent residence or a temporary residence in the country with a criminal record. So if you are tried with criminal activities, you cannot stay here. Look, you can dodge the bullet, you can hide here and there, but sooner or later you will be caught. There are random police stops, for multiple reasons. There you around here when you are walking in the street, you have to have a document with you, even if you are Portuguese national. That is normal for us. But why? Because we created this from above, from the system itself. But you let people in as long as they are working. You don't give a fuck. The cause of this issue is the state itself, because the state itself does not regulate itself. Mr. Trump could have solved this entire, uh, let's call it illegal boogeyman with a couple of simple laws. Just say this from now on, there will be a national identity card, okay? And citizens will have to have that card. If you are an immigrant, you also have to have your card. But then I understand, I know what is going to happen. They are going to start trying, oh, this is against my rights and whatever. What is against your rights to be identified by the state you are part of, or by the state in which you live and work, even as a foreigner? How can a bloody ID card, oh, this way they can see where I am? My friend, my friend, if you have a cell phone, even I here in my PC, with your phone number, I would be able to see where you are. Even if you pay gasoline cash, I will be able to see where you are. If you live it in a unless you are out in the bush with no human contact except stopping by a grocery shop and paying cash for something, I know where you are. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This idea that the simple idea of having, look, here for example, you cannot drive if you don't have your driver's license on you. Simple as this. If for anything you forgot your documents, you are issued a fine, and then you have X amount, I think it's 15 days, to present the documents in the police station. If you don't do that, they will send the case file to court and you will be charged for driving illegally. If you're driving illegally and you're drunk, it's two crimes. If you are stopped by a police officer and the police officer gives you the breathalyzer, you are compelled to do the test. There is no walk this line and do this and do that. That's bullshit. Because here it's as simple as this. If you are driving, you cannot be drunk. Look, I drive all days of the week. Right now I'm not driving. Today I'm on a vacation day. And tomorrow it's a holiday, national holiday. The day of Portugal, if you don't know, the 10th of June. But if I'm driving, and I'm driving every day of the week, I don't have one drop of alcohol on me. I'm not a heavy drinker, you know, for both for health reasons and both for principal reasons, you know. I never saw much advantage in getting drunk like an idiot, you know. A man that cannot hold his liquor, for me, is not a man, man or woman. But when it comes to weekend, I like to have a couple of beers with my friends. Of course I do. Or I like to sit down and relax, you know, see some YouTube, you know, play some games. I like to play games, you know, I like to read. I like to work on other stuff that I do and have a beer because I'm not driving. The state grabs the responsibility and it puts it on you because you are a citizen. You have rights and you have duties. So if the state says, for example, you have to have an ID card. No, it's not infringing on your bloody rights. But in America, you don't have these principles. And then you get lost in this idea of absolute free speech. And then you have jokers commenting, like one I had, that we in America, we are happy we have free speech. What the fuck are you talking about? Free speech. It's free speech to insult other people. You can disagree with people. There are certain groups in my society that I don't like. I honestly don't like. I won't talk about it because I don't think I should talk about it, especially here in this situation. But I can talk about it, but not here in this situation. But I say I don't like. I don't say I hate. Do you understand the difference? I don't like. I don't mingle with those people. I don't associate with them. I don't care about them. Not care in the sense that whatever they want, I don't care about it. It's not my business. I don't. Okay, but I would never deny those people, those different groups I'm talking about, the right for them to exist, to be there. This entire, this entire idea, or the another joke that says, "Oh, look at this! Now only riots in liberal cities." What the hell are you talking about? Liberal cities? Are you a moron? Are you that ignorant, that stupid? The difference between a liberal and a Republican is a question of how one speaks and the other one speaks. How the one class, how each and every one of them classifies themselves. And you in America, it's the percentage people. You know, you have one Irish grandpa. Oh, I'm Irish, I'm Irish. Or you have one guy that came from Africa. Oh, I'm black, and you're white as me. Or you are part white, part black, and if you are part black, already you are black. And it's this is how we say it here, okay? Black, a black person. It's not of. This is not an offense. A white person, a black person, a mulatto person. Okay, we don't like to demonize words, and we already had enough infection from the United States for a decade. We don't need it. We don't want it. Okay, we don't like to treat people like that. You don't treat people like that. And as for religion, I don't give a fuck who your imaginary friend is. Okay? Because there's also a lot of religion in the mix of all this shit. But this guy sends ICE agents to provoke people. Oh, they were just there doing their job. My friend, doing their job would mean to do it well. And to do well their job, the first thing they would do is contact the government and say, look, sir, the agents are going to make before talk with the police officer and say, look, we are going to do operations here, here, and here in this town, this city. We are going to do operations downtown LA. And when you arrive at the business, you speak with the owner and he says, look, I need the paperwork from your workers. You don't pick up people like if they were criminals, put them in the back of a car, and they go off who knows where. No lawyer, no procedure, nothing. I don't know who you are. I don't know what is your purpose. I don't understand what is happening. Perhaps I don't even speak English. Sorry, my cat just came in. Hello, baby. Now, and then they are surprised. People start rioting. And let me tell you, from the start, I don't believe in this kind of violence. Okay? I don't believe in this type of rioting. Sorry, the kitty. I don't believe in this kind of writing because it doesn't work. Because now all that this is doing is giving Mr. Trump more power, more reason to continue his agenda. And his agenda is power. Yes, it is. Okay? His agenda is power. And you are all falling into the same thing. And this is, look, this is just my opinion. This is just a simple little video that I made, you know, because I think it's, look, people, if you are rioting, try to do it in a way that they have no excuses to attack you. And if they attack you, be the bigger person in the business. And I know it's easy. And just for you to know, I was also in protests where they hit me and I did not hit back. Okay, it's very hard, but you need to control yourselves. You need to control the people. If you see people that are attacking other people, even if it's those bloody ICE officers, don't go with it because this is all an excuse. Now you can see the Republicans. They are going off on it. Look, those savages. They are doing this and they are doing that. All those liberal cities. No, yeah. The liberal cities. They are rioting. Civil war. Civil war. Don't fall into that tune. Civil disobedience means to not cooperate with a state you consider is acting illegally. It does not mean to attack and riot, because when you attack and when you riot, you are destroying your own property, you are destroying your own taxes, and you are damaging the people that you are trying to protect. Just tell those people that are being detained, don't speak with anyone. The only word that should come out of your mouth is this: lawyer, abogado, no te comprendo. ¿Qué estás diciendo? No te comprendo. Documentos, no te doy, no tengo mis documentos conmigo. Abogado, lawyer, no speak English. Lawyer. They put you in a bloody cell for 20 days. Lawyer. Lawyer, you have to insist in forcing them, you have to insist in forcing them to act according to the law. Because if you fall into this maelstrom of rioting and going back and forth, in the end day, who has the guns? Oh, we can get guns too. Okay. So you're going to start a civil insurrection. You are going to start to kill people, and you think your own people and innocent people won't get shot and won't get hurt because of this shit. Riots solve nothing. They don't solve nothing. Violence solves nothing. Remember what? Do you remember what Einstein said? Once Einstein was questioned, okay, what weapons do you think will be used in World War III? And Einstein just said that he didn't know what weapons would be used in World War III, but he did know what weapons would be used on World War IV: sticks and bones and rocks. Destruction leads to nothing. If you say, oh, if we don't riot, this will happen, this. No, you have to make the difference between riot and protests. These people want riots. These people want confusion. These people want blood. Ellos quieren que tú hagas daño a otras personas. ¿Comprendes? Eso es lo que ellos quieren. Y tú tienes que ser el adulto en la conversación. Tú. Okay? I was just saying, this is what they want. They want you to hurt other people so that they have an excuse to attack you. And you have to be the grown up in the conversation. Please be safe. I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, as a raised Catholic, I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, please stay safe. Please take care of yourselves, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors. The only way you are going to solve this situation is by being there for each other. I'm not telling you to be uh, inactive pawns in this business. That is not what I'm saying. If you want to protest, please protest. It's your right. It's your free speech. But do not let yourselves fall into a situation where you are the aggressors too. Do you remember what Hitler did? He burned the Reichstag down and then blamed it on some communist extremists or whatever. Do you know who burned the Reichstag? Goebbels and his men. They drew up a plan to make it look like if the state was being attacked, so they can then have an excuse to have absolute power. This is all what is looking. And right now they are looking for an excuse to divert attention from things like ports empty of goods, soft power waning, markets crashing. And if you think if you think it will get better, you know, tourists not coming to the US, okay, money flying out the window, kleptocracy, all of this is happening just before your eyes. And you have to help the judicial system to solve this. You have to give them support, you have to insist, you you have to flood them so much so that they will not be able to do this agenda. They will have to back up, and this is not something you're going to solve in a few in a few days or in a few months, or even by removing a president that, for good and for bad, apparently, from what we know, was elected to be the president. Even if you don't like it, I don't like him either. But if he was elected to be the president, you have to put up with him. And if he's taking arbitrary decisions, if he's taking illegal measures, then what you have to do is constantly call him on it, constantly criticize, constantly do your job as citizens of the republic. And I'm talking about the Republic of the United States. I'm not talking about Republicans who don't know what a republic really is. And for God's sakes, be safe, okay? Don't be aggressive. Don't burn out down things. Don't do that. It won't work. It never works. It seems that like it's going to work, but it never works. Stay safe.